Hey there! The latest iPhone right now is obviously the iPhone 14, and it is the best one so far, no doubt about it. But it is also the most expensive one, so should you get it? Or should you try another one? These are the questions that I'm going to answer in this video. And to start with something positive, this might be the continuation of my series You Don't Need the Most Expensive One, so stick with me. Although on the Apple website, among the cheapest iPhone models right now, you can see the iPhone SE and iPhone 12, when looking for a budget option, you have surely considered purchasing older models such as XR, XS, 11 and 11 Pro. These older models were pretty solid a few years ago, but if I'm being honest, I wouldn't recommend buying them now. The first problem is battery. I don't want to bore you with the battery numbers, but the battery life in these phones was never good. And if you buy a used phone, remember the batteries degrade over time, so it's going to be even more frustrating for you. If that wasn't enough, let me add that the screen quality and brightness is significantly worse than in modern phones, and the camera technology has moved a lot in the last few years, so generally speaking, I would advise you to stay away from these phones. The iPhone SE, despite its popularity, falls short of expectations. For starters, the price tag of $429 seems unreasonable for a device that uses outdated technology. The camera is nothing to write home about, with just a single lens, 12 megapixel camera that was used in iPhone 8. Compared to the newer models, it is definitely a letdown. Battery life is another major issue, as even moderate use will require frequent charging. On the upside, iPhone SE supports wireless charging, just not with the MagSafe technology. Even with the new A15 chip, the iPhone SE feels like a relic in a fast-paced world of technology, with a price tag that doesn't reflect its performance. The only time I would recommend this phone is if you were completely sold on having physical home button and never wanted to learn full-screen gestures. The iPhone 12 is currently the oldest Apple phone that can be recommended to the average user. It has everything you can ask of a modern smartphone. Compared to its predecessor, it even has 5G, but its importance is still marginal in my opinion. Upgrades still come into play, as Apple will support this model for almost 3 more years. The biggest advantages? Definitely performance and camera. Apple A14 in 2023 is still a very powerful processor. It's not too far behind the flagship SoCs from the top Androids. Combined with 4 GB of RAM, you can count on smooth experience in all conditions. This smartphone also has very good stereo speakers. You'll only find better ones in the top gaming smartphones. Now let's talk about the minis. Although the iPhone 12 mini and iPhone 13 mini look almost identical, there are several hidden differences between them that make one noticeably better than the other. One example is that the Mini 13 is heavier, and it is because it has a larger battery. This is a major reason why I would opt for a newer phone. The Mini 12 simply loses power extremely quickly. I would not want to be dependent on carrying a power bank soon after buying a new phone. Both phones have an identical screen with the same resolution, but the one on the 13 is brighter. As for the cameras, thanks to the larger pixel size, the newer model handles low light better and can use cinematic mode, a feature allowing you to take videos with the bokeh or portrait mode effect. The iPhone 13 has all the advantages of the mini version and a little more. Pointing out, of course, that the size preference is a relative matter. The screens are brighter, the cameras are better and arranged differently, and the base storage option is now 128 gigs. Add to it the faster A15 chip, improved camera algorithms with cinematic video mode, and even longer battery life. With the Pro phones, it's even better. The A15 chip is even more powerful thanks to the extra graphics core. You get 6 gigs of RAM instead of 4, and the screen finally has the ProMotion. The ProMotion technology offers up to 120 Hz refresh rate instead of the standard 60 Hz. And what's even more is that it is adaptive, meaning that if you are staring at a wall of text and the screen is static, it will reduce the refresh rate in order to conserve battery. Now, the iPhone 14 is basically the same phone as the iPhone 13. It has the same design, the same display, similar battery life, and similar performance because it also uses the A15 chip, just slightly boosted. Some improvements are in the camera system and new features like satellite connectivity and crash detection. But are these enough to justify paying $799 for this phone? I'm gonna leave this for you to decide on your own. The camera system of the iPhone 14 is slightly better than the iPhone 13, but honestly, you won't notice much difference unless you're a professional photographer or a filmmaker. The same goes for the iPhone 14 Plus, as it is just a bigger version of the iPhone 14. It has a larger display and a larger battery, but everything else is identical. Now when we get to the Pro models, things get a little different, as this is actually the best Apple has to offer right now. They start at $999 and $1099. The new 48 megapixel main camera is fantastic and yields great shots. The videos it makes are even more impressive. But the most noticeable differences are on the display. The dynamic island and the always on display. Yes, if you are coming from the Android, you might be surprised, but this is actually the only iPhone with the always on display function. The iPhone 14 Pro and Pro Max are amazing, but so are some other iPhones we've discussed today. I think that these models are only for a certain group of people who could benefit from the outstanding cameras, or the ones that just don't care about spending this much money. But what will my recommendation be? Well, as every consumer is different, I would like to nominate 3 phones. My first recommendation is going to be the iPhone 13 mini. And it's because I do believe that this is actually a really good size for a smartphone. It's portable, it's light, and packs all the features of the bigger brother. My second recommendation is going to be the 14 Pro. I know, I said it's for the very privileged people who can spend as much money on iPhone as they want, or for professionals who know exactly how to make use of those cameras. So, if you want the latest and greatest, well, you won't be disappointed. But if you're looking for an iPhone that offers the best balance between price, features, and software support, then the iPhone 13 is the best all-rounder for almost everyone. It has a great camera, excellent battery life, and a really good display. It's the most refined version of the notched design. Plus, it only costs $559, which makes it a really good option for most people. Thank you for watching till the end. Let me know which one you like the best. Or maybe there is something I missed. Hope you learned something today, and I see you in the next one.